can it be? Showing up with Tony T, yes, Ramon SEO. To the double T, be fuddling these bookies like 1, 2, 3. They tapping out and we cashing out. It's plain to see. The morning team is the A-team, Mr. T. And I pity the fools who can't hang. Coming with real game is sort of a freight train. It's been reported bank rolls are easy to maintain. So get situated and listen to the picks. And it goes a little something like this.
Hey, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Steam for Wednesday, January 24th. Good morning. I'm all fired up for this tennis match, right? I wanted to come on and be with you guys. I didn't want to leave you hanging. You guys are all here already. Great crowd chatting here. But man, this match is on fire right now with Zverev and Alcaraz from Melbourne. Man, this thing's on fire, and I was like, I want to watch this. I'm trying to prepare for the show, want to get ready, want to have some great picks. Hello, everybody, and welcome. We have a great show for you today with NBA, NHL, and college basketball. But boy, and this thing's just going off. I mean, Zverev was up 2 sets and about to close it out on Alcaraz. He comes storming back. As soon as he grabbed the third set in dramatic fashion, the match became even though he still trailed 2-1 and really had been dominated. And again, I mean, the odds tell the story, right? Always trust the bookmaker a little bit, right? Or the experts, if you will. Right now, I mean, it's still a toss-up, I would guess, at this point, where they stand. But again, you go down 2 sets, you're still down 2-1, and then the match is even. It tells you what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to win necessarily. It probably will be a toss-up, but it just goes to show you it wasn't going to be like it was in the first 2 sets. What a match. I don't even know what these guys are talking about. I got the closed captioning on. People are talking and chatting, and well, let's just get the show started. We might be done with the show by the time this thing's over, if it goes. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? And ready for another great day? We'll see what we're looking at with our sports that we're going to preview. Also want to mention real quick, golf starts on Wednesday today. If anybody's interested in the golf from San Diego, last couple of years they haven't played on Championship Sunday. That was always a big hassle for CBS, so they switched this tournament to go off on Wednesdays now. And I did put some picks up on the Discord. In the Discord, look, the thing about the golf this week, if you guys are really interested, maybe this is the first decent tournament, if you will. Not no slack on the Hawaii events and last week's event as well, but getting to a U.S. Open caliber course like Torrey Pines, even with the north-south configuration that they have to play there, got a lot of good names. Look, it's still not totally clear, right, with the Live merger, and all the top names aren't going to be there. But when you've had so far this season the winning placements 200-1, 300-1, and 400-1, you might want to take a look at some bombs this week in San Diego. Now, this course does kind of favor those West Coast players a little bit, and maybe some of the top players. Maybe we won't get a bomb here this week, but I've mentioned some guys in the Discord. You can check them out for your top 5s, 10s, and 20s, and outrights for sure. Thagala, certainly primed somewhere to get another win. He's one of the hottest players on tour, and he's 25-1 this week. Keegan Bradley, always a sure shot here to be competitive and playing some of the best golf again of his career. Man, I mean, it was 15, 20 years ago, where it seemed like we were talking about Keegan Bradley and the way he was performing. And he's getting a little career form back here. Matsuyama, anytime you get him at 50-1 plus, might be worth a look. Luke List, always pretty good here. Bezuidenhout, the South African, also, this is his type of surface. Kim, a local guy from San Diego, he's one of my shots here at 80-1. Going to look at Griffin. Griot, you can get Griot at 100-1 right now, and look how hot Griot was at the end of last season. And maybe Sam Ryder at 125-1. Check out some golfers in the Discord. I got the Discord at the top there. Hey, Doubles, nice to have you as part of the team here. You talked about some of his plays, cut line plays, and you mentioned Oklahoma City there. We still don't know what's going on with that game, right? Protests, they never work in professional sports anymore. Can't remember the last time they upheld a protest. That game was what an adventure that was last night. That was one of my premiums. Didn't work out, but we still don't know what's going on there with the Trailblazers and the Thunder. What a crock that was. That wasn't very professional last night in that matchup. And how'd you guys do with the NBA last night? NHL as well. And college basketball. I want to say hello to some folks and get on over and start our show here. But let's get the comments from the group and how you guys are doing today. I guess I'm all fired up, huh? Gamble first in line. I was questionable last night after maybe a rough, maybe some bad fast food or something. I don't know. But man, I feel 100% all of a sudden with this tennis match. Here's Gerardo today. We'll take a look. Maybe you guys are more interested in international basketball than you are in international soccer today. I don't know. I know you guys are so big on the Euro baskets, and I got to do a better. Hey, Chad's here today, continuing his hot run. I'll give him plenty of opportunities today to pick on me a little bit. And Perky here today. Perky should be able to, I think, fix things, Perky. If you want to go to your other chatting device. All right. Poppy here today. Week off for Poppy. No UFC this week. Doesn't mean there's not some other UFC MMA action. Doubles. Hello, there he is. He says he's made his debut here on the site. We'll take a look at that. Dre's here as well. Justin's got his play for us. And Ari here today with Herky. Not Perky. So when Ari, when I got Ari and I've got Perky, I've got Herky and Perky. Don't know if you noticed that, you guys. Gerardo, watch it. Yeah, awesome match here today. I'm talking. I want to run the show. I want to try to peek at this match. It really is dramatic. I didn't mean to be so, wow, this is the greatest match. It is. Just when I see something like that, and you see something like that in betting, you're like, you got to trust what's going on. And looks like we'll get right now. We're on 13, 22, 29. So, but you got to go to another set, obviously. Blakey, hello. Timmy's here today. Byron, thank you, Byron. Oh man, so good to see you. Good to have you here, my friend, my old school friend. All right, Salty's here to hope. Can't put that on screen. All right. Curtis is here today. Jeff, tough night in college basketball. What happened, my friend? Certainly enjoyed the night in college basketball. Some of the games were concerned. I had a big play on Michigan and Purdue. I've kind of zeroed in on that one. Certainly yesterday. Let me see. I wanted to, I tout my picks. I tell you guys, please subscribe to my picks, get my picks and all that. Look, we're going to have even the best are going to have, that winning percentage. You want to get 56, 57, 58, 60%. That's fire. It seems like, you're like, 55 to 60. You know what? That's the difference between like, success and like a millionaire to a certain extent, if you really know what you're doing. But just to talk about some of the ways I write, I write up the games, right? Michigan and Purdue. For any of my subscribers, here's what I said about the game last night, as I wrote it up in my preview. If you subscribe to my picks, of course, Purdue rocked Michigan. I'm moving on the over here with Michigan and Purdue in this one. The Boilers will surely hammer the Wolverines. I think Purdue will put up a huge number here. And I did predict. I put a score in there. It wasn't really even my score was even farther off. I picked a blowout for a score in my pick, and it was even worse than that. Uh, Hope you had some of those winners. You guys, Justin's here. Great job. All right. Go over to tonyspicks.com and take a look at who did well. Maybe we'll get a chance to take a look at doubles. That's a great thing about what's going on here at Tony's Picks. I mean, I don't make any of the, I'm just like you guys. I'm part of the team. You guys are part of the team in the chat. There's no difference. It's just that I come on here and I've certainly earned the trust of the group that runs it to have a show. But I mean, all you guys that are on the team now are from where I was. Really, I was just someone who enjoyed watching these types of shows in the chat, making picks. I mean, I've been a tout all my life, pretty much. But you guys, through your success, probably your repetition in the chat, your agreeableness to communicate, be there every day, make the picks, that type of thing, goes a long way. And they watch the show, so I know they do. All right. Let's see here. We'll go over to Tony's Picks and take a look at who's hot. And you got the match finally coming to an end here, you guys. I think now I can focus on the show. I mean, maybe I looked a little I wasn't paying total attention to you. I don't want to say it like that. That's not the case at all. But the match is over now, so we'll get on with the show. Zverev advances. All right, going over to Tony'sPicks.com and take a look at our premium picks. And probably Sam Murdy was on top of the handicapper leaderboard yesterday with a 12-6 record. Great job, Pravi. 67%. Nick Bartini, he is the face of Platinum Cappers. 3-0 yesterday. Gene got picks every day. Gene got winners every day. At this point, 4-1 yesterday. There's Mark Butterscotch Eubanks, part of our group from before, right? Was with Team Steam to a certain extent. 8-5 yesterday. The Tony's Picks VIP 2-0. Ron Hahn 4-2-1. Another great member from our chat room. Ben Ruhala, he's old school. 3-1 yesterday. EPA Sports there 6-4. Latifa the Queen Collins 5-2-1. Chauncey Giles 1-0. Jerry Lewis 2-1. And OG Cappers VIP 2-1. Over the last 7 days, EPA Sports, they bring you the picks in every side and total. So really what you're getting is a power rating type of picks with them. And man, you'd be clicking if you were with them over the last week. 70-51 here for 13.54. That's why you see the high volume. I want to make a key point here. You see Ruben Marlborough there. And when you look at the cappers, Ruben Marlborough plus 13.13 probably has been hot the last week, 11.95. Two old ladies at Bet Consensus. That's when Mindy Hahn and Tiffany Mance have an agreement on their premium pick, and that's been money here, over 62% over the last 7 days. And Mark Butterscotch Eubanks is there with plus 991. You see the monthly leaders here as well. Mark Butterscotch Eubanks. Oh, this is over the last 30 days at 31 units on top of the handicapper leaderboards. Gene got picks, 27.5 units. Nick Lagaretos, 25.5 units. Probably Samba Murdy, 21 units. And Joseph Schultz. up nearly 14 units. Take a look for the year, and you see this high volume count, right? I mean, some sites, you're paying $100 for a package and you're getting, uh, you know, uh, 5 picks, 10 picks, whatever the case may be. And I would say I was one on when I joined Tony's Picks that I said, volume is the key because really, like I said, even the most elite cappers that are coming in at 57, 58, 59%, which there's certainly, and again, I know there's a lot of goes into play with underdogs, money lines, all that. You just got to round it off to a certain extent to generalize. But uh, if you're dealing in very low volume, if you're looking to make somebody some money, you've got to hit at a much, much higher rate than even the best professionals do. You have to be an outlier, right? We all talk in poker, you see those little bubble, you see the one outlier way up there. Like, how did this guy get way up there? Something's amiss. And uh, that's called a hot streak, pretty much in most places, unless there's something else going on nefarious. But really, when you see all these cappers and their high volume and how they're having the success now, I think it's proven what I was talking about all along. And look at the success of these guys right now. Nick Lagaretto's up here at close to 70%. Probably Sam Murdy up 22 units. Mark Butterscotch Eubanks. Look at the volume there. Just this year, basically 21 days, 24 days, 23 days this month. Gene got picks, Ruben Marlborough, Joseph Schultz, Ron Crawford, part of the team, also obviously subscribes to this theory as well. You see myself and Mindy Hahn right there, the same thing. Generate, yes, you got to produce. You're in the profit. These are realistic numbers, quite frankly, for the work that is being done. And you see how deep the handicapper leaderboard runs right now. These are, people who dedicate their time, like me, to making winners here. All right, thanks for listening to that. That's just a little different philosophy on it today here with me, but pumping up all the cappers here on our site, including our newest member as well here on the team. Thank you so much for showing that interest in joining us. You guys appreciate it very much. All right, there we go. Awesome. There you are, sir. Appreciate you very much. And all of our guys and gals here on Tony'sPicks.com. I appreciate you very much. And I'll do whatever it takes to help you guys. Or, I'm always looking to do more shows, believe me, here on this channel and others. Hit me up however you can. I'll love to get with you. All right. Let's go back and say hello to a few folks. Hope I didn't get too carried away there. But just a little bit of my philosophy. Fernando's ready to. How about this one for a big game today, huh? Top teams going at it. We'll preview that one today. And Ray Otachi here today as well. Jeff, we'll see what happens, right? And look, I think that's kind of the big story. You think about it, there's two stories really to what that whole situation. First of all, with Doc Rivers coming in to be the coach of the Bucks, and maybe if anything, Doc has underachieved to a certain extent on what he's expected to do, but the players were running the roost there a little bit. And maybe they still will be, right? Because Doc is a player's coach. And it kind of harkens back to what happened the other night. Now the controversy arises with the situation with Joel Embiid kind of scoring all those points. But I'm sorry, not to the situation with point scoring the other night with the 70 points, and they talked about Cat, and maybe they were hearing about Cat scoring the 62, and the play became unselfish. When the coach calls you out in such bizarre fashion, and the coach is probably right, there's probably some kind of that might be a problem with the team moving forward, right? We've talked about all the success of the Sixers to a certain extent, but that doesn't look right, right? You guys know what I'm talking about with the scoring controversy the other night? We talked about the 70-point game yesterday, you guys. All right. I think we're supposed to get going here, curving here today. And we'll get started with the show with the previews. I like this NBA card a lot. Hope you do too. And I had, like I said, just one play, one premium play, and it was in that bizarre game yesterday. Again, so I guess I can't complain with that strange. Like I said, I wouldn't think there'll be any uh, rescinding of that result, and the NBA will make it official. It's just a mistake. It's just like if you miss a call. I mean, okay, he was obviously calling timeout. There was like 10 other things that happened in that game, and we could have, called him out on it. But it's kind of like stepping on the in line and the ref doesn't see it. I think if a ref misses your timeout, that's like just a mistake by the referee. And there were other situations, but let's get started and see. There's plenty of movement in the lines today. We're going to have to, unfortunately, start with a blowout potentially here with the Timberwolves taking on the Wizards on the road. And the Timberwolves favored in this one by 10 points. 10.5. In fact, what we've seen here, just as I was about to come on the air today, is movement in this game that has sent this to a 10.5. The move is actually on the Wizards, and it looks pretty serious, quite frankly. Not that I'm necessarily, well, I might be on the Wizards. I don't know. What do you guys have in this one? I would think that, certainly Minnesota and their situation right now could come in here and beat up on these guys. They're still doing a pretty good job. They're not the best at covering numbers here, but Washington is just 7-12 against the spread at home so far. And like I said, the move has clearly been on Washington here of late. It's mostly 11. It's been mostly 11, but I saw it get to 10.5. I guess I better set it back to 11. It's 11 everywhere at this point, and the total maybe at 230. There we go. Both these teams kind of Timberwolves on the road 14-8 to the over. The Wizards 11-8 to the over at home. So in these situations, these two teams tend to go over. Minnesota, they've won 4 of their last 6 games. They've lost 2 straight. Basically, they lost to Charlotte at home. Remember, they were stunned by the Hornets, who are, well, maybe they'll peak up a little bit here, but they also lost to OKC 102-97. Minnesota has failed to cover the spread in 7 straight games against the Washington Wizards. This is not their matchup. They've lost all 7 of those games. They just don't play well against this franchise. Yes, the Minnesota Timberwolves are, despite the rumblings of late, are at an all-time high here. With their franchise, and the Wizards, quite frankly, are, even by their standards, still at a pretty low threshold at 7-35. So you do have to contend with that. But the Wizards have won 7 straight meetings between these two teams. Minnesota has gone over in 13 of their last 20 games on the road. And when these two teams have played, we talked about Washington winning them all. They've gone over in 9 straight games between the two teams here in Washington. Now, that's like a 10-year sample size, quite frankly. They play once a year here. But every time they played, they've gone over. Every single time they've played here in Washington. 9 straight games. So, I don't know. You can quantify that. Again, I think when talking about some of the things I've said about long-term series, right, and how it's not always significant. I think sides are more significant than totals to a certain extent. Washington's gone under in 6 of their last 9 games. They've lost 10 of their last 11 games overall. Washington has lost 6 straight games here at home currently. And Jeff Schramm says, take Minnesota. They will certainly win this game, I would think, aren't they? And Double's going to lean to Washington here. Let's see what I got. I got a little something here on that. I see someone. Well, let me get that. I might be able to get that. That's a pretty specific request. I don't know if I can get. I might be if you got. I don't want to stall the show. I can get that. Who was it? Ari, what's Minnesota's record against the spread coming off a loss this year? Oh. I might be. I might have. I don't know if I can get it without delaying the show, and might look like a fool here, going through tabs and clicking. I'm afraid, my friend. That is a great request. So, Kev Cook today. Hi, Kev. Good to see you. Plus 11 here with the Wizards and under 229 app at Dre. Might want the over here. Chad says, only the Wolves for me. I will say this to Chad. I love the Chad challenge. I love that I'm 33% against Chad. He cherry picks all of his plays. I don't mind, certainly. But I will say this about Chad's selections. They're completely square, Chad, every time. So I do love you, man. Appreciate you. I'm always going to be on the sharp side. And if the Sharps get crushed by Chad, so be it. I need Chad to win. So he comes back here every day and graces us with his selections. My friend, he likes the Wolves today. I'm trying to find a way to get to the Wizards myself. But I will say this in defense of that statement of Chad. The Sharps did pound Timberwolves early on this one, only to see the comeback here on the Wizards. So that's why it's ended right back up at 11, I guess. Because I certainly have seen it higher and I've certainly seen it lower. Fernando likes the under here. And Russell had already mentioned it. Thank you, Russell. I got all excited. You guys are already talking about it. I'm going backwards here. Why do I have to write? Why do I write all those? Write all my or type all my notes out, and you guys are already. Yeah, except for me talking, Lucci. Aren't those built-in commercials working that we set up? All right, you guys got your play in. So the widely reported Steve. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate you, brother. Okay, let's see here. Solo on the Wizards. Okay, Chad maybe liking first half as well. Is that right? Okay. All right. I think I'll make the call. I don't know if I can stomach it trying another one here against Chad, but I think I like the total too much not to want to have to take the side here, actually. And I'm kind of leaning towards Washington, quite frankly. But I think I like the total quite a bit, and I'm not sure that I'm even going to hint about it as far as putting it out there. My premium. They're so important to me. But I'll try it, Chad. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Wizards against you here. Take these points. I think what we've seen here from the Wizards, a little bit of life here, getting some of these points of late. I mean, they're absolutely terrible. We know that, but they did cover the 12.5 against Denver. They covered the 12 points against the Knickerbockers, and I'll try them again here to get some points here at home against dysfunctional. The Timberwolves to me now. Oh, thanks, Ari. You're the man. You answered your own question, and I think here. I'm worried about the Wolves. I've already talked about them about their success this year, their unprecedented success. But to me, I don't know if they have the championship wherewithal. I mean, I guess everybody would agree with that. It's just that their record is so top notch that you certainly are putting them up there with the best contenders of the West. But they do appear to have some dysfunctionality now. What's going on? I'm not sure, and can't even argue that will be a factor in today's game necessarily, but they've lost two straight in pretty bad fashion against, including that Charlotte Hornets game. Maybe coming off a loss to an embarrassing performance like that will fire them up here today. All right. I'll take the Wizards in the Chad challenge. Or is it? I think does it have to be designated a challenge play, or is it just any disagreement? I'm not sure. Because I think Chad said, this one not as strong or whatever. All right. Let's get to the Hornets here. And The Hornets and the Pistons. All right, we'll try to spend less time on this one here with the Pistons and the Hornets. I think I'm ready to roll on the pick if you guys are, but we can talk about these teams a little bit, I guess, for a few seconds anyway. We'll skip these when we get to baseball season. I promise you that tonight. All right, the Pistons are the favorites. Oh my God, one of the Pistons' record as a favorite. 0-0? No, I think they've actually had a few games where they've been a favorite so far this season. The Pistons, imagine, and the Hornets are coming off a win. Detroit, they've covered the spread in 5 straight games, of course, playing some of their best ball. And now we get the big news, of course. That's why we have to talk about this one. Cade Cunningham is slated to make his return today, and I'm sure that's why we see the Pistons here as a favorite. And I think it's good news, man. I mean, I think this guy's unheralded and will, he's a 23 points per game scorer. I think he'll make a big impact tonight, be an overlooked player to a certain extent. Talk about square. I might be square here in this one, but it looks like big money kind of coming in early, at least as much as it can on an early game like this with the lower limits. But watching that here, Pistons with their 4 wins this season, favored by 3 or 3.5 even now, maybe even 4 at South Point, 4 even at Bovada. So you've got Detroit Pistons team with a 4-39 record, now a 4-point favorite against a 10-win Hornets team. That's a little hard to swallow, but it does seem like the sharpest of sharps are kind of coming in on Detroit here. Detroit has lost 10 of their last 11 games, despite that money line or that point spread success that I just mentioned. They've actually lost the last 3 games. They lost to Milwaukee, got the number, lost off back-to-back games against Milwaukee, and got the number as finally one of those second games went under. They also got the money against the Timberwolves, losing by 7 as a 12.5 point dog. So look, they cover their spreads as an underdog. Total's gone under in 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams. Detroit's lost 6 straight games at home. Detroit also 1-8 straight up against the Hornets in their last 9 games at home against Charlotte. Charlotte is 2-7 against the number in their last 9 games. They've gone under in 13 of their last 20 games, which is, earlier in the season, kind of when Ball was playing, maybe they had a lot of overs. Could they start to trend back over with Ball? Charlotte's lost 17 of their last 20. They've failed to cover in 4 of the last 6 games against Detroit, despite that run of wins over the Pistons. They've actually won 16 out of the last 20 meetings between these reasonably frequent opponents. Charlotte's lost 12 of their last 14 games on the road. Lots to swallow here with these two teams. Probably spent 2 minutes too long on this one. All right. Yeah, Jeff, I don't know. I don't even the line service has their own system plays, but I don't I pay attention to it, but I don't know if I could explain it enough it wouldn't make any sense unless you had the access to the product, I would think, if that's what you mean. I just like the noise, I think maybe it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. I don't know. All right, Rodney'd rather go to I wish I would have went to Taco Bell last night that's the other place I went to. And let's see. Mike's on Detroit here. Justin said, I took it at a good number. And maybe that's where it's going to go with Detroit, right? Because of Cunningham back. Maybe that's what people are starting to feel today also, getting the news. I think we knew within the last 24 hours that he was on track to make this return here. So doubles here, leaning Pistons. I'll probably take the Pistons on the show. Let's see, Kev here. All right. And Dre on the Pistons. Pistons here. Hey, hi, Lex. Good to see you today. It is, Ari. I'm probably going to do it just here on the show. Anything from Chad on this one? All right. I think that's it for you guys here. I'll take the Pistons. I'll lay 4, I guess, and just take them here on the show. If you got the 4-win team favored by 4, and it feels kind of sharp, I'm probably going to do it. That's probably my definition of a um, I don't know if a sharp play or whatever. But I'll try the Pistons here. Let's go on. Let's move on. Gosh, get rid of that. Okay, Grizzlies and Heat here. How about it? Yeah, another mismatch here, certainly. How low can you go in this one? That total can't be right. I'm sure it's gone lower by now, hasn't it? Oh boy, it's still 212.5. It's down from an opener of 214.5. I would think this one is not going to get to 210 points today. The Sharps have already come in here to take the under, and well, I probably would too. But I might have a side here, depending on what you guys are up to today. With the Heat favored by 10 against the Grizzlies, it's a bad situation, no doubt, but the Heat have had some issues of late as well. They should be able to get this one and maybe even flirt with covering a big number. The widely reported steam came in on Miami. I think for the most part, though, it's back down to 9.5. Miami's not very good against the spread. I mean, they're 8-12 at home against the number, while Memphis is 13-11 on the road. ATS. Still don't know how it's going to how you might look at the Grizzlies here trying to regroup still going to throw a lineup out there every day. No doubt about it with this. But, it just runs so deep right now. Now you've got guys like Aldama. He's out with a knee injury. He joins the group. Probably going to maybe we'll get Terry Rozier here today for the Heat. We'll see about that. Jaquez, he's doubtful in this one. So it's all about what Memphis is doing at this point, I guess. And, if you think they're going to put together a stable enough lineup here to, be able to hang in this one. I mean, Luke Kennard, Jackson, guys like that. They are coming off a win against Toronto as a 7-point dog on the road. So good job by the Grizzlies there. The Heat, they've lost 3 straight. They haven't looked good in any of those games right now. So could they be laying too many points here? Maybe the Sharps don't think so. I think they might be willing to lay it. All right, we get maybe some of your comments here with Memphis and Miami. Okay. Here we go. What do we got? All right, Rodney says, can't take the heat. If you can't stand the heat, don't take them. And they says they've got the Celts tomorrow, so they might not cover here in this one, thinking about their game on deck. Ray says, Grizzlies. Maybe the Grizzlies look at the Grizzlies. Is that what he's saying? Memphis and the points here for Dre. Kev Cook under here in this one. I mean, it feels like a total under in this. I mean, it feels like such a big under. I'm going to take the Heat because I think I'm going to take the Heat. I'm going to take the Heat too. If I can't stand the Heat, I'm going to take the Heat. And that's a lot of points for an under game, Double says. Is right? Is it? What do you say? Okay, I see. The 10-point, when you're dealing with a double-digit spread in a game that, I've got it certainly going under, I would think this, whatever the number is. I mean, this is the number right now. So I think I'm going to be on the Heat here in this one, but I think you know what I'm feeling. in this game today. Miami's gone under in 6 straight games. They've actually gone over a little bit in this series with Memphis. 8 of the last 9 meetings here in Miami have gone over. Russell says Heat, maybe that look ahead spot that we were talking about here. So, all right. And for Memphis, they've lost 4 of their last 6, including 2 and 4 against the spread. In those 6 games, Memphis has gone over in 7 of their last 10 games on the road. But I've still got to think this is just a style of game this is going to need to be. And I am going, hey, William Richardson is here today. Let's welcome William. He hit everything. First time commenter here, but hit everything. His only regret is he didn't bet more. And I would say my funny saying, but I feel bad and feel awkward in saying it. To a new visitor, he might feel insulted and leave. Anything from Chad on this game? If not, I'll just take the heat here and lay the points. All right. Solo here, ready to roll. And Timmy Two, okay, let's move on, I think, with the Trailblazers and the Rockets. Well, the Trailblazers apparently, they could have another, well, we'll see. We don't know from last night's protest what's going to happen. Protests never get upheld. Oklahoma City taking on, that was the opponent for Portland, wasn't it? Trailblazers here and the Rockets. The Rockets got a double-digit favorite here against the Trailblazers in this one. And for the Rockets, this is one they should be able to win, certainly, but getting the number, that'll be another question. This one took steam, widely reported steam, to the over here. I believe, no, let me see. I don't know. I want to take that back. This one opened 221. Now it's up to 222.5, 223 as it continues to move higher here with Portland and Houston. Okay, I think got that one right now. Rockets come in 20 and 22 on the season. Portland a dismal 12 and 31. Certainly right now, Sharp still out for Portland here. Portland's off a couple of losses to OKC and the Lakers on the road. They did get the money against OKC in that game last night. Straight up result notwithstanding. They were a 13-point underdog in that game, and they were able to get the money. That was a great job by Portland, quite frankly. I didn't think they were in the right spot. But now to have to travel here down to Houston for Portland. Let's see here. One moment, you guys. Here we go. All right. Houston certainly great at home, we know, against the spread, 15-7-1 record, but they haven't been doing quite as good a job of late against the number for sure. Now, they did just cover against the Celtics, of course, 116-107. They were getting 11.5 points. We were on the Rockets in that game. And before that, though, the Rockets were having trouble getting numbers and winning games. They've kind of come back to the pack here a little bit, 20 and 22 record. We've talked about the Rockets like they're one of the better teams in the league, and the improvement they made, while terrific, really, they still are, a sub 500 team here. Granted, they're playing a pretty difficult schedule. So, take that into account. I think you're going to see that once we get to close to the postseason. Some of these teams may end up with some type of success as long as they can get into the postseason. Houston has failed to cover in 7 of their last 8 games right now, and they've lost 4 out of their last 5. The total has gone under in 12 of the last 18 meetings between these two teams. Rockets have won 14 of their last 20 at home, but failed to cover the spread in 5 straight meetings here at home against the Trailblazers. Trailblazers 4-1 against the spread now in their last 5 games. The only one was that blowout loss to the Lakers by 24 points. They've lost 9 of their last 12. They've covered 5 of the last 7 meetings against Houston, and they've won 10 out of the last 13 meetings outright. But that was with the better Blazer team in the past. The Blazers have lost 5 straight games here on the road, but they have covered 5 straight meetings here in Houston. And again, some of that was harkened back to previous, all of them were, quite frankly, because this is the first meeting of the year between these two teams. All right, so we got here with you guys in this one. Dre is first off, and he says Rockets and over. Tell you, I got to agree with the latter half of that one for sure. And Thomas is on the over here as well. Curvin's checking in with a pick here, and he's got Portland in this one. I really like the total. I may just have to go with the side here, and I'm actually ended probably on the points. I might. You guys are hot on that over. I like the over. Is this for this one, Ari? Are you on the over here too? A lot of over here. Biggie's here today. Hello, my friend. And Kev's leaning on the over as well. I'm going to let you guys have at it. Why don't you guys announce the over there in the chat? I mean, that's about as good as it gets to have a kind of a chat consensus on a total. And I'll probably agree with you guys here. I'll take Portland plus the points here a little bit and grab these points on the road. I figure the Rockets, are definitely having some issues covering numbers at this point, and Portland's a little bit healthier, certainly covering the spread of late. They're hot against the spread, quite frankly, right? You just take out the losses and stuff like that, even though they do have recent wins, too, against Indiana and Brooklyn. Those were at home. So I'll give you that. Anything from Chad on this game? Nothing? Okay. Maybe he doesn't like it. Maybe he's having connection issues. Cavaliers and Bucks here in the big game. And, if anything, we'll just see what's up with the Bucks at this point, because this feels like the type of game where this is where, let's cut them some slack, right? Let's wait and see. Let's give the Doc Rivers a couple of games here that because if anything, right, the Bucks, it's been the defense. That why would you fire a coach that has such a top-notch record other than the some type of dysfunctionality with the players checking themselves into the game? Giannis, he obviously wanted the guy fired. There was obviously some disconnect there, and Giannis is going to help call the shots here, right? But Giannis doesn't seem like that type of guy to a certain extent, and so it's really bizarre that it's come down to this. But were the guys really checking themselves into the game and such, and that Griffin had really had no control over what was Giannis coaching, basically? And what will happen now with Rivers coming in? We'll see, but it's supposed to be you need to improve on the defensive end, I would think, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. And here you have a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the total's 235.5. I know we're in the new era of all these points and everything, but if you told me the Cavaliers and the Bucks, even with the trajectory of these teams, even maybe a year ago or maybe a year and a half ago, you'd say, well, it's going to be a low-scoring game, right? I mean, the Cavaliers and that interior defense and the way they go about things, and the Bucks had some moments there where they looked like a strong defensive team back with not with this group right now. No. So, does that make sense to you guys, or should I just start reading the notes? All right, still a great game. Bucks come in with that 30-13 record. The Cavs, 26-15. They're the team that's kind of fought through these injuries a little bit. And the Sharps are hot on this game for sure. And it's not necessarily one-sided. All right, let's get into some of this with these two because you got the Cavs are the more solid team when it comes to getting numbers. That's for sure. Cleveland, 22-17 against the spread. Overall, the Bucks have been dreadful getting numbers here of late. The Cavs are on a spread streak, and the Bucks are on a spread losing streak. We always talk about, the best coaches are the ones that cover the spread, and the worst coaches are the ones that don't cover the spread. Well, maybe that's why they fired Adrian Griffin, because the Bucks have not been covering the spread, and they've been, it's funny, right? Here's a team that's, won several games. Maybe, let's not get into it. The Bucks have failed to cover the spread in 5 straight games, despite winning 4 of those games. They've won 5 of their last 6, actually. Milwaukee just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games at home. They're playing one of their best, toughest rivals to a certain extent. Total's gone under in 9 of the last 13 meetings between these two teams, right? As you might expect, but the widely reported steam came in on the over in this game, and despite that, this total has continued to drop from a high. I saw as high as 238, and now it's 236.5. I think I should update it. I did see a 235.5. I maybe had put it lower for emphasis on the storyline a little bit as I was trying to concoct it, but we still could have the same form with Milwaukee here. No guarantee it's going to turn around just yet, despite maybe because it is the Cavs and the Bucks that they can kind of tone it down, turn it down a little bit with the points and the tempo. Milwaukee has won 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams here in Milwaukee. Byron, if you're still out there, but I think of Byron as my working buddy from the years past, but he was such an impressive shooting guard. I wish he had time to comment on the games. You out there, my friend, still? Or were you just saying hi? All right. For the Cavaliers here, they've covered 5 straight games, completely opposite of the Bucks right now. Cleveland has won 8 straight now on this winning streak as they've kind of come on strong here, getting everybody healthy and in the lineup. They've covered 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams, winning 6 of the last 9 meetings overall. Cleveland 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games on the road, but this is always a tough venue for them, as I said, with 9 losses here in Milwaukee in the last 10 trips. So Milwaukee 8-15 against the spread at home. And they've been favored in every game but 2. So they're basically 15-26 against the spread overall. Cavaliers, pretty good as an underdog. Mediocre as an underdog, 7-8, I believe, against the spread. So what do you have? We've got, here they come. It's Bucks first quarter for Ray Otachi. Kev Cook is on the Cavs. Yeah, don't bury the lead on this one, right? I mean, you wonder about Giannis's status here, but Thomas, but I'm showing him as probable in this one. So I'm sorry if I didn't mention his injury status. I didn't want to assume that everyone thought. And maybe do you have any more information? Actually, maybe I'm a little behind the curve on this one. Like I said, I did have to check in a little bit early last night. It wasn't 100%, so I might have missed some late news. I think I even missed the last final there. We had the Clippers on the show. I think I kind of wrapped it up. We did have some winners yesterday here on the show with the Clippers last night. We had the Clippers. That was about it. Thank you, Doubles. Thank you for your contributions in the Discord as well. as part of the team, certainly. And Ray on the over here. Kev, I missed that comment. Let me see. Oh, yeah, right. Well, it's got to be something, right? I mean, you don't fire. It seems like you're firing a third, coach with such a great record, right? Jeff Schramm talking about it as well. Okay, Thomas still has Giannis out. I would, if he is, then what I would probably do in this case, because the line to me indicates that he's in. Because I would, to me, if he were out, right, wouldn't this line be about 3 or 4? All right, I'll keep looking into that. Fernando says it's just a spot here. And Jeff says he will take Cleveland tonight. And yeah, it's real tough, man, to lay the Bucks. That's just what it feels. That's the feeling right now. But if anything, if you want to kind of go off of the uh, trends, point, whatever. Like I said, you got Milwaukee on a spread losing streak, Cleveland on a spread winning streak, right? But Milwaukee here at least would have the private motivation, right, to say, and all they got to do is win, obviously, but the private motivation, obviously, if they've got Rivers in here, it looks like a pretty popular choice for a coach. I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of motivation. This is, hey, cash action bets here today. Yeah. And let's see here. Nothing from Chad on this game. Guess he doesn't like the card. All right. I guess I'll have to make the call. I'm waiting for him. I'm trying to give him a chance here to run up the score, but guess he doesn't like the games too much. So I'll just make the call on the. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna take the Bucks to win and finally get one here. I think they look like the type of team that would take it out on somebody. This feels really sus to me to a certain extent, but I want the Bucks here just on the motivation alone, and I'm going to look for them to buck these current trends right now for sure. So, all right, well, I guess. Oh, all right, Chad's not here. Okay, I guess he's living. I'm living. He's living in my head. He's rent free in my head, whatever they said. Oh, okay. Well, okay. He got mad because I called his pick square. Nice. All right. Hey, whatever sets you off, I guess. Um, I'm always on the sharp side, so I figure if I'm losing, right, it was just it was a matter of reasonable deduction. I don't think it was even a statement that I wrote down or anything. All right, let's continue on. I'll take the Bucks. There was a great chance for Chad here to take all those points. And I did the research since he's not here. And in his victories, in his 33 victories, he has laid 247 points. So you tell me, hey, if you can do it, there's no problem. I mean, please lay all the. I just laid 6.5. With a team that hasn't covered the spread in a week and a half. Okay, I didn't know people got bent out of shape and stormed off. All right. Victor, no, sir. That is widely reported Steam by the major line services. That's why I try to designate at the top just saying Steam. I know we want to recap. I just figure I'm on record here. I already spend a lot of time. So, right, Jimmy? No doubt. Okay. Exactly. Am I egoless or do I have the biggest ego in the room? It's debatable. Here we go. I did my Dak impersonation. We know that's a whole nother story, right? With Dak getting called out. All right, here we go. Thunder. Where's it at? Where'd we leave off? Thunder and Spurs here. Here's the other half of the protest game. Got the Thunder on the road here by 7 or so, maybe even 7.5 now. The total up to 242. Let's call it 7.5 and 242. Well, we'll call it 242. I'll leave it at 7 if that gives you an indication where I might be heading this one. Look, I know we love the Thunder. Do we love them as road favorites? Not usually. But I know it's going to be hard for this is another one. If he was here, I mean, come on, I'm probably going to take, I don't think I can take him as a premium, but probably going to be on the Spurs. Honestly, but we'll talk about it a little bit. Maybe you can talk me off of them here with the great Thunder, the great spread team, the great team, the Thunder, 30 wins and 13 losses this season. Of course, they are coming off that controversial victory last night, 111 to 109 against Portland. They were favored by 13.5. They didn't get it done as a big double-digit home favorite. They did win on the road against Minnesota prior to that, and they beat Utah on the road as well. So some nice, impressive games there for the Thunder. They're all impressive for the Thunder. The Spurs, it's hard to find the bright spots, but can I find a spot to take some points here with them? A Spurs team that's covered 3 straight games on that end of that road trip. They even won, remember, at Washington. It's hard for the Spurs to win. They only have 8 wins this season, but probably got to consider where we are in this one. I show the game currently moving right now down to 7.5 here. The Thunder are getting steamed here, folks, right now for sure. I'm showing DraftKings now at 8.5. South Point at 8. This one is on the move, no doubt. This one's getting steamed. I don't know if I will even like this steam right now, but this one's on the move. I'm sure we're going to hear the alert here momentarily. There's just no way this isn't widely reported steam. Most of the books may be at least getting to 7.5 right now, but it's almost breaking news. Yeah, there it is. Steam play. Oklahoma City Thunder minus 7.5. So it's up for you to decide now. Usually I'm somewhat interested in widely reported steam such as this, but gosh, I wanted to take the Spurs when I came in here. It's kind of the steam where you want to investigate and see if there isn't some type of situation with who playing tonight. He's not on the injured list, but we'll see. Maybe Wembanyama, who definitely has had, stayed out of a couple of games of late, but there was no indication that he was going to miss this game or might take the game off. I think, if anything, Trey Jones was the only guy who had anything going on. He injured his leg in the loss back on Monday. And that was, of course, he had one of his best games of the season against Washington before that. So, all right, let me get your comments here. Maybe I should read off a few numbers, but I'm interested in what you guys have to say already because this is definitely on the move. I don't think there's any question about that. Okay. Doubles here, leaning to the Thunder. It's Mike with the Thunder. Everybody's going to want to take this Thunder now. They're going to have to do it with some tax, it looks like here. I want to still stay with the Spurs and wonder, hey, what's going on? Is there I'm here on the show. Let me look at Wembanyama is kind of hard to type into Twitter. Into the Twitter search fast to see if there's been any kind of I'm moving over to Twitter here real quick and giving a glance at my tweet deck to see if there's been any Wembanyama news. Maybe. Oh, that's awesome, Doubles. I didn't know that you named it after something we had said or something like that. Here's Kev Cook on the under. Thomas says, look, they're a great spread team. Why not keep rolling with the Thunder? I'm just not very fond of the Thunder, maybe as road favorites. That's all. But it's not like they're great. Just maybe perception because they are 18-9 as a favorite. They're against the spread. 13-7 against the spread in their last 20 games. 5 straight covers against the San Antonio Spurs for Oklahoma City right now, winning 4 out of the last 5 games. Hard to believe they were an underdog in one of those games. Probably had to be late last year or something. I don't know when it would have been. I guess maybe in early season of 22, maybe. Oklahoma City's gone under in 5 of their last 6 games, although they have gone over in 6 of their last 8 games on the road. San Antonio's lost 15 of their last 17 now, but 9-2 against the spread in their last 11 games. These San Antonio Spurs, right? You've got everybody they've been critical of Pop. What is Pop doing? I see you guys in the chat. I get it, right? But, is he not really the right? Is he coddling this team? Is he babying this team? Is he not letting them be themselves? Or is his approach correct? Does he totally have a beat on this? To me, when you're covering 9 of 11 with a team that's bad, probably doing something right. Certainly not getting the respect from the bettors or the odds makers, right? They keep covering right now, though, these Spurs, and they're at home getting some points here. Kind of seems like they fight back a little bit, right? Every time they come back here. Jeff's got Thunder to roll by doubles. All right. Thunder here maybe for Fernando. Ari's got a parlay that I can't put on the screen. Oh, Fernando's on the under. All right, better get moving here. Here, you guys have been great on the comments as we grow this audience. I mean, I want to make sure I get every play if we can up here. So, sorry if I skip through it a little fast. And we need to update this line. At least put 7.5, if not 8, at this point. Well, I say it like that. It's 7.5 at Circa. I'll call it 7.5. Give myself an extra half a point. But like I said, and those 8.5s were already bought back at DraftKings, so it's settling 7 or it's settling 8 right now. But I'm gonna. Well, let me see if I can get on the total here. No, I'll take the Spurs. Chad, you out there? Come on, man. You can lay 7 more points here with another square side with the Thunder. Come on, man. Where are you? Help the show. I mean, all this publicity I've given Chad the Chad challenge. And where is he when I need him? All right. Suns and Mavericks here in this one. The good one, hey, pretty decent one here, I would think, right? With the Suns on the road, the way they've been playing a lot better here and against Dallas in a near pick-em matchup. Tell you this, the Sharps, they're clearly on one team in this one. Maybe you want to, or in my opinion, So you guys may disagree if you want to take a guess. Not much as far as widely reported steam, though, in this one, but I know who the Sharps are on, and I'm going to tell you in just a moment. The Suns here, road favorite here, 2.5, 240.5. There is some noticeable money, though, here on the Mavericks, I would think. This one was Phoenix 1, now up to 2.5, but maybe there's been a little bit of buyback. Do see a little bit of 2s out there. Three at Circa. That has to be significant. The Suns are just 3-6-1 in their last 10 games, 16-26 against the spread overall, but they're on a straight up winning streak, obviously. Kind of coincides with the full and healthy return of Bradley Beal, quite frankly, and putting the big 3 together. Remember, they hadn't played hardly at all, but now that they got everybody in there, things are kind of hunky-dory. All of a sudden for Phoenix, they've won 6 straight games currently. So maybe you can throw out some of the 5-14-1 against the spread in their last 20. They have just covered one of the last 7 meetings against the Mavericks, having lost 5 of those 7 games. Phoenix has won, though, 4 of their last 5 games overall, straight up on the road. Dallas has lost 4 of their last 6 games, including back-to-back losses here to Boston and the Lakers. The total has gone under in 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. Dallas has gone under in 8 of their last 12 games at home, and 5 of their last 7 games overall have gone under for the Mavericks. Get your comments, if any, in this one and see what you have. All right. Oh, Jeff, I took you know who I took? I took the Spurs. I like the spread streak that they're on, and I'm going to try them here. I think I was against everybody. All right, here they come. Here's Dre with the Suns and over. Thomas is on the Mavericks and the under. Doubles says, give me the Mavs plus those points. Probably siding with the Sharps myself, even with doubles. Here's Biggie likes Phoenix on the money line to win this one on the road. Seems like the chat's been pretty strong. And Mike talking about it, right? Yeah, they are winning games, not necessarily covering them, right? If maybe are the Suns getting a little bit too much respect immediately at the window? We've already seen this one go up for that 6-game winning streak. We talked about it. Phoenix is not covering numbers, even with the new surge. Beal comes back. Are they getting bet up because of that? Are they facing competition they can beat and they're favored by too many points? Because, again, they've covered just 1 of their last 5 despite this winning streak. And I think Mike is saying that here to a certain extent. All right. But I think I'm willing to try them here anyways on the road in this hot streak. But man, I really want to take him as a premium tonight. I'm going to take the over in this game as my play here on the show. So for all that, and I'm not even sure yet. So you can kind of mark me down for the Suns. I might be on them as a premium. Just they're laying 2.5, maybe even 3 points now. But the Sharps are on the Suns, and I want to be on the Suns. Because I feel like I'm on the sharp side. So that's why I feel like sometimes if someone is against me, whoever it is, I feel like they're on the more square side. If the Sharps are losing, that's fine. And again, it's just my observations, quite frankly, whether you want to believe him or not. All right, here's Kev on the Mavs, Fernando on the under. Dre says there will be no defense here in this one. And I'm actually surprised, right? The total at 240-ish right now, 240.5. Maybe it's sneak up just a little bit. All right. One more in the NBA and some things to talk about here, certainly with the Hawks and the Warriors tonight in this one with Trae Young. Going to be missing this one. I think that's already been said here with a concussion and other injuries, a few injuries as well for Atlanta with Fernando questionable, Krejci out, Wesley Matthews out as well. So big time issues there at guard in the guard spots. Pajemski is questionable for the Warriors tonight. Chris Paul, of course, we know he's been out with that hand injury, as well as Gary Payton is a situation for the Warriors. I don't know. We want to see him right now and get him back out there on the court. This has been a very tough time for them. So I think we're a little bit cautious here tonight on what's going to happen with the Warriors. It obviously hit this team very hard, the circumstances of last week. Fortunately, they get to play this game at home a little bit, don't have so much chaos in their lives currently. But it is the other than Trae Young being out, the major storyline with this game will be the Warriors in action here in this one. All right, we'll get to it right now. And Warriors last played 9 days ago. They are on a bit of a skid right now, certainly, with a couple losses in a row and having lost a few games even before that. They do have a recent win against the Bulls. We know Atlanta's absolutely dreadful against the spread, one of the worst spread teams. If not the worst in the league, but the Warriors are just 6-14-2 against the spread at home and 6-16 against the spread as a favorite. So a little bit of conflict between things going on here in this one. The Warriors, big time over team. We know that going over in 14 of their 22 home games, but Atlanta has not been going over at all of late. They've gone under in 7 straight games. They've actually beaten the Warriors in 5 of the last 7 meetings. The teams only meet a couple of times per season. Atlanta hasn't changed against the spread necessarily with their 11-32 spread record. They've covered just 4 out of their last 16 games overall, and they're just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games on the road. They've also, despite winning 5 of the last 7 meetings, just the way the schedule has kind of worked out, Atlanta's lost 9 of the last 10 meetings here. So they've won the games at home, they lose the games on the road, and it kind of has been that way against the spread with the teams too, with the home team getting the money each time here for the last couple of years. Golden State's gone over in 4 of their last 5 and 5 of their last 6 games at home. Atlanta's coming off losses to the Cavs and to the Kings. They started this road trip against the Kings last time out a couple of nights ago, losing 122-107 as an 8.5-point favorite. Of course, they didn't get the money, but they did attract the attention of the Sharps. It looks like today the Sharps came in and took 7.5. They also went under. The widely reported steam in this one was on the Hawks and the under, but seems like since then it's been mostly money back to the over. It feels like I wouldn't think that this one's going to be a lower scoring game even without Trae Young. And yeah, I mean, I understand we've got Dre back in there, and maybe the things will change to a certain extent for the Warriors. But in this matchup, would it really? I mean, you'd think that Bogdanovich could certainly have a pretty strong offensive game for Atlanta, kind of picking up some of the points here, along with the typical suspects like Murray and Johnson. And the Warriors certainly can have a big games with Curry. I mean, that's going to be a fine matchup for him, I'm sure, as well as maybe even Wiggins. Here comes some plays from you guys on this one. And it starts with Ray. First half, Warriors -7. Thomas Lewis is here on Golden State. Maybe he likes the under. Fernando is questionable for this game. And Dre says Steph goes off here. But Thomas says he's just standing around. And Fernando says, Warriors, they've been, remember, like we said, 9 days off now. They've missed 2 games after the passing of their friend and assistant coach. So this is their first game back to action. And, it's been hard for the team. That they've said that. Hello, Wine Time. Great to have you today. Ari Gold says over here in this one. Kev Cook wants under, however. And Jeff saying, maybe an obvious angle here that they will play some inspired ball for their lost friend. Timmy Chushu likes the team total over. Jeff likes it over here as well. Wine Time says he thinks maybe it might be a little bit, or I could only characterize that maybe Wine Time is playing it from an emotional angle. Wine Time is sort of a guy like me, kind of likes his trends, and but I think that you do have both ways here with the Warriors not exactly terrific, and but we know the Hawks are the worst. So taking the Hawks, I would think for Wine Time, a guy like one would be maybe would hate to do it, but maybe in a little bit of a spot where the Hawks take advantage of the Warriors' mental status, if you will. All right, I'll look to go over in this one here. I'm probably feeling like Wine Time a little bit, but it's hard to back a team like the Hawks. Where's Chad, though? I might if Chad were here. I'll try the over. Atlanta and the Warriors tonight, and that's the NBA. Thank you, you guys. We had some fun with that one. We had some fun with those games. Let's get to college basketball. No, we've already been here. Look at the time. Let's get rolling. Hey, I picked some nice games today, but I'm going to start it off with one game that certainly is a little bit of impact here in their conference standings. Going to get mostly big time. I think I got the best game from each conference is kind of the way it unfolded. I didn't realize it until I was done. Deciding on which games we could talk about. But I think in the Southern Conference, this might be one of the games to talk about because you have undefeated Samford on the road here as an underdog going up here against Furman with a 10-9 record, 4-2 in conference. For Samford, you got Player of the Year, Conference Player of the Year candidate, Acor here, and State McRae as well for Samford. But they are an underdog here against Furman. And I thought that was interesting because, Samford undefeated right now in conference play, and they are 17-2 currently overall, riding that 17-game winning streak. We talked about them already in a show or two because of this hot streak that they're on currently, and here they are as a 3-point underdog. So you want to talk about sharps and squares. How are you looking at this one? If you are if you are looking at this one with Samford and Furman, I would think so. Come on. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, we got those time changes coming in on tonight's game. We already knew it. You guys already talked about it with the television arrangements tonight. And all right. Let me catch up here, though, real quick. I think I transitioned a little bit too fast there because we were taking so long on the NBA, and now I'm stuck here on queuing up the college basketball. So let me just get going, though, here with these two. As I said, I think we've talked about the situation with this team's enough. Maybe we talk about how these teams are doing covering wise. I mean, Samford, they not only win, but they do cover as well. They've covered 9 of their last 10 games. The one they didn't cover was that last game against Mercer. They were favored by 13 at home. They didn't get the money, but here they are an underdog. They are 1-2 against the spread as an underdog this season. So interesting to note, the 2 games that Samford did lose, they were underdogs and they did not cover. Of course, one of those games was against Purdue. It was the first game of the season. So not only have they won 17 in a row, but one of their losses was to Purdue. And the next game they lost to VCU. And then they've won all these games in a row. We talked about it the other night. Furman comes in, as I said, 10-9, 6-9-1 against the spread. As a favorite, they are 5-4 against the spread so far. Samford is 0-6 to the under on the road. And so that kind of stands out a little bit, I would think, in this matchup. All right. Let's see here. This total, I believe, let me see, 168 and a half. Let me see. 169 now. Okay. So maybe it's gone down to 2.5. Maybe it's still 3, but the total is definitely up here to 169. These close games are so tough to get over, aren't they? Because, both teams here have to score close to the high 80s just to get this game over. Now, that doesn't seem impossible for a team like Samford that's had so many strong offensive games as part of their winning streak, but consider who they were playing, and now they're an underdog here. Furman has gone under in 6 of their last 7 games overall. The total has gone over in 8 of the last 11 meetings between these two teams. Furman has also defeated Samford in 8 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams at Furman, basically every year. Samford won let's see. Furman won both meetings last season, including the meeting here, 91-84 for 175 points. They were favored on the Furman was favored in that one by 4.5. Furman was favored in both of them, and they were won by Furman. So Furman has kind of controlled things of late and gotten the number here. Furman 14-1 straight up in their last 15 home games. So it is a great spot for Furman maybe to grab the upset here. Why would they be favored? Or the old saying, why would they be favored over a team that's won 17 games in a row? I don't care. Give me the over. I'm not going to mess with it. If they're score, I know it's hard. I probably wouldn't do it as a premium, but why wouldn't this one be 90 to 85, one way or the other? Sounds like a good time. Sounds like one of the best games of the day. Sounds like a game worth watching. Samford and Furman. Furman for cash action bets. All right. Appreciate you having Justin also with a comment on the game. How about it? Thomas, what everybody knows, right? Mike says, give me Furman. And Ari, there you go. Thanks, Ari. You'd like to know about his Hawkeyes? I'll try not to forget today, maybe like I did yesterday on a request game. Jeff says Samford here. They're just doing it. They're doing everybody dirty at this point, continuing to roll. Yeah, cover the last 5. Well, didn't get the money in that last, but before that, cover streak, no doubt about it. But they were favored by 13 against Mercer. And Thomas, I would not say so. I don't think. Look, I think we're going to get the same Purdue. It feels like we're going to get the same thing this year. I think it's easy to start playing some spots on the futures board with long shots, man. Who's to say teams like Purdue and Houston they always blow it. These teams. Okay. Interesting point here. And I would think that, Samford could be, considered. Now, look, they're like 80th in the overall numbers, right? We know, but let's see here against their bet. They lost to a number 50 Princeton team. They lost to a Liberty team that was 94th. All right. Let's go. NC State and Virginia in this one. And we've got the Cavs a favorite here by 5. And the total, that's 6 now. I know this is right after that Iowa game, but I had these all scheduled to be the previews. Virginia by 6 maybe now. And the total 130.5. Thought this was just maybe the best of the ACC action here tonight. Maybe there was maybe a little bit more attractive of a matchup. No, I don't think so. With the Notre Dame, no, those teams are terrible, right? So you have Virginia coming here at 13-5. They're 4-3 in conference. NC State's 5-2 in conference, 13-5 overall. It's been Virginia that's slightly the better spread team, but they're 8-3 against the spread at home, going up against an NC State team that's 1-5 against the spread on the road. Virginia, as a favorite, just is 7-5 against the spread overall. NC State definitely plays to some overs. They're 11-7 to the over overall, and they are 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games. But this is a game involving the Virginia Cavaliers, and Virginia is that team, no matter how you look at it, even knowing the fact that Virginia is always going to be one of the slowest tempoed teams in the country. The totals still go under in Virginia games for the most part. They're 3-8 to the under at home, and a lot of times they're dealing with totals that are sometimes lower than this. The last game, they just won and covered against Georgia Tech. It did go over, but it was 128.5. Before that, against Virginia Tech, favored at home by 4.5, a very similar number to this because the total was 125.5, even lower in that one. They did cover against Virginia Tech as a 4.5 point favorite, winning 65-57. And they're favored by even more here. Maybe that would indicate that, well, Virginia Tech is supposed to score more. Against Louisville, they scored 77, but we know that Louisville's on an epic, poor run right now. That they haven't been too good. Let's just face it. Virginia's gone under in 11 of their last 16 games at home. 11 of the last 14 meetings between these two teams have gone under. I think that's one where you take that really into consideration in a matchup like this. Virginia's won 20 straight games at home right now. Total's gone under in 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams out of those 14 games that I talked about. 11 of 14 under, 6 of the last 7 between the two here at Virginia have gone under. North Carolina State over in 4 of their last 5, but under in 4 of their last 6 on the road. NC State's won 9 of their last 12. They're just 4-10 straight up against Virginia in the last 14 meetings. We can take your comments on this game if it's of any interest. Cash Action Bets here today likes UVA. And Justin talking about maybe Carolina. I talked about Kentucky yesterday, right? Oh, man, Kentucky feels like the flavor of the week. They were down 50-40 in that game yesterday at one point. Justin said Virginia going away. I think I said it right. Virginia going away. Right, Justin? Not Virginia going away like they're going to be terrible the rest of the year. You're saying Virginia wins this one, going away. I think that's what he says. NC State beat Virginia by 16 already. How about it? Don't forget. Yeah, NC State was favored in that one by 1.5. Would you look at it as a revenge, Ari? Yes, he would. Jeff Schramm says, you trust Coach Bennett in a situation like this. Timmy Tushu, NC State and over. And Poppy says, watch out for his guy. Oh, I missed it. Missed it. There it is. DJ Horn. Thomas says Virginia first half under. All right. And yes, Justin says, that's what I was saying, Virginia, to smack these guys around. Yeah. Well, I'll take a peek at the latest moves to see if they can get me off the Cavs, but I was already leaning Cavs, so it's probably going to take some type of sharp action to throw me over on the total. It could happen. Give me the Cavs. I'm with you guys. Could have laid 4.5. Now I'm laying. It was BetMGM just moved. They moved to 6.5, and it got bought back right away to 6. So maybe that's the tolerance point. But I'm laying the worst of it here. Rick has his football play ready to go already today. All right, this is the real big one tonight. One of the biggest games of the year, actually. Make no mistake, you'll have two, top 10 teams here. I would think for in most people's rankings, polls, power ratings, whatever the case may be. With Alabama coming in here at 4-1, probably underrated by the pollsters. It feels like all the metric sites seem to rank Alabama pretty high. It feels like it's the almost like it's the Big 12 and then Alabama and Auburn. Maybe a little bit of some other teams in there as well, but I don't know what you think about what's necessarily going on in the SEC. I mean, Tennessee is right there, but do you have them in this grouping? Maybe. All right, Alabama, a 3-point favorite here at home against Auburn, 16-2 overall, 5-0 in conference. Alabama with just the one loss. It is Tennessee with one loss as well. Kentucky now with 2 losses after last night's debacle. Get a little bit of info here on this one with, Johnny Broom and the gang, right? Ooh. Get that little steam action out of the way here so I can get to the notes. All right. Bama right now, they've kind of been the decent team at home covering numbers. They're 8-2-1 against the spread right now. Alabama at home, but Auburn's been red hot too, not only winning but covering. I mean, they're getting everything at this point. Bettor's dream. They've covered 8 out of their last 10. They're on certainly a cover streak. It's Alabama coming off that loss to Tennessee on the road, but lost by 20 points as a 5.5-point dog, as Tennessee got the best of them in that one. Auburn with a big time run here right now on their winning streak, certainly. And they are also 5-2 against the spread on the road. As an underdog, however, let's see here. This is their first let's see, is that right? Is this their first opportunity as a true? No, that can't be. I might not have made the right note on that one. I might have to. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to skip it because I might have wrote the wrong note there on that one. Let's just move on and talk about the trends a little bit with these two then. Thought I had a hot angle, but I might have had it incorrectly here about Auburn as an underdog. Let me see if I can round it up here. Auburn's won 10 in a row now as part of this winning streak. Currently, one of the best winning streaks going right now. It's 11, right? Not 10, it's 11 currently here. Auburn also has covered 5 in a row, as we mentioned, hot against the spread. They've gone under in 4 of their last 5 games, but they have lost 4 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams. Alabama won here 90-85 at home last season as a 10-point favorite. Should be noted in that one. The total's gone under in 11 of the last 14 meetings between these two teams, and Auburn has gone under in 5 of their last 6 on the road. For Alabama, they've covered 5 of their last 7. They also failed to cover against Vanderbilt recently as a 13.5-point favorite. They won on the road as a 3-point winner. Alabama has gone over in 11 of their last 15 games. They've won 6 of their last 7. They'd won 6 straight before they lost that game to Tennessee. They've also won 19 of their last 20 games at home. dating back to last season. One of those games so far, of course, did come at home this season. They lost a non-conference game to Clemson, 85-77 back in late November. And here comes Cash Action Bets. He's on Alabama. Mike, it's simple. He takes Alabama. And Thomas says, he'd prefer Auburn at home. You know who we need here is Jason, that Roll Tide guy. But Justin will say, hey, Roll Tide at home. And looks like Ari wants to go over in this one. Well, I will say this about that, about Ari's play on the over. He's getting the best price, I would think, right? This one opened as high, I want to say it was as high as 165. 167.5 was the highest opener. Wow. And now it's one. So Ari getting the best of it here. These are the ones where usually I'm like, oh man, give me, I'm always guilty on the air of, I'm probably going to do it again. I'll probably go against Ari, not because it's Ari, but. All right. Yes, the yellow's here. He might be a little behind us there, but all right. Justin's talking about, Auburn. Was it App State? Is that the game no, that can't be the game I'm thinking of. Oh, yeah, they lost that one to App State. That was the one. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a throw out, but certainly, I mean, when you've already started conference play, with wins on the road too over, against Arkansas, they beat them by 32. I mean, I know that Arkansas. Yeah, Jeff says maybe be a little chalky here. I kind of feel the same way, I think, in this one with Bama. Maybe that's the way I'll go. I've lost so much value. I can't do it. I got to go with the total under because it's a close game, and I think it will stay both teams stay under 80 points, it feels like. Yeah. Rick, am I running? Yeah. Rick says, am I running right? I like that. I mean, that's my thing. I like to really what it is I like the line service to alert me, and then I like to look at that game that is on the move right at that second. So, and I just leave the special effects on here to make it seem like a sports book, maybe. Gary says, give me Alabama and under. Perky with his plays. Oh, no doubt about it, Ari. No doubt about it. And again, here's the thing about it. And so, some people get all mad when and I'm not saying you're wrong, but you are on the over here is the square side. Okay. Hope you don't get insulted by that. What I'm telling you is honest, right? The total was as high as 167.5. You have two teams that everyone will admit play extremely fast. The total has dropped here to 162, whatever we said, right? It was as low as 161.5. Is Joe Schmo waking up at 9 or 10 in the morning and hitting his app while he's at work on his morning coffee break, or even cappers, right? Everyone, the money or the books are moving this game so much lower. So you could be right today, Ari, and you often are. You are a good capper, just like other people who storm off here when I call their play square. I'm calling your play square. You're getting the absolute best of the line. That should be a huge compliment, right? So I hope you take it that way. But the move is clearly on the under. So let's maybe sportsbooks say, hey, here's a freebie. We've got to worry about all these big shots playing, opening minimums. Maybe later on, maybe it's a head fake. Maybe it's a head fake. And later on today, it'll go all the way back up to 166. And everybody be sitting there, all the sharpest guys who bet, nickels right out of the gate or whatever the limits are, 2 dimes at circa probably, are going to be left saying, I'm so dumb, I went under 161. Give me the under tonight, Auburn and Alabama. I'll be your Huckleberry. Bama here for Fernando. Lassie Love. Ari understands it. And I didn't mean to make an example of one of my best commenters here. Yep. It could be a head fake, no doubt about it, because when the limits go up, right? And maybe I am the sucker here, but I will say this. This type of move is quite often pretty successful from the Sharps, and they definitely have come back on the over of late. I saw it as low as 140 or 161.5 at PointsBet, and it is now back to higher at PointsBet. That's how I do the market reading. All right. Oh no, Mike, I just mean opening limits, right? Most books right now at this time of the day are probably going to, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not opening up with nickels myself. I'm a pro, but I play the landscape too. I mean, like I always say, my plays are probably going to be probably less than even a lot of you guys in the chat. But by the time I get done spreading all over the landscape, I'm going to be playing as much, if not more, than the average person. Thanks, you guys. This has been a real interesting show today. And Wine Time says Bama is the play here. I agree. Let's do it, Wine Time. I'm going to take my first double play here, Alabama, and I have the under here in this one. And Ari's got the over. All right. Yeah. And I think the other thing is when I keep seeing these, and I know that, this one does have a chance. Certainly it could be 85. I get that. But how many of these 160s where the line is inside a bucket and they just get stuck with, 4 minutes left, you look up and it's 73-72 and every possession matters. That's what sometimes is happening. Maybe not with Auburn and Alabama, but in general, watching, 50 college basketball games a day. That's what I think I'm seeing. Keep it going here with, we got to go Villanova and St. John's. I don't want to go 3 hours, you guys. This is getting terrible. Villanova and St. John's here, widely reported steam came in on the over in this one with St. John's favored in this one now by 5.5. 4.5. 4.5 here. Villanova coming in. Took it on the chin with the Johnnies last time on the show. This one definitely has gone down here to at least 3.5, if not 3. So let's at least move it down here because I think I'm giving the little lean here by the way I'm angling the point spread, angling the move here on the screen. All right. I think we're ready to go here in this one now with Villanova and St. John's. The Johnnies here. Going to be a great one, obviously, coming in the Big East tonight with St. John's coming in at 12-7. Villanova 11-7, but still closely rated. That's why I kind of took interest in this game. You have Villanova certainly desperate right now with a 4-3 record. St. John's at 4-4. I don't know if I was expecting maybe I was expecting a little bit more from these two, but of course we have Seton Hall is the big surprise so far this season. They've kind of been the team that's kind of thrown a wrench into this whole thing. Of course, Seton Hall beat St. John's the other night. St. John's is starting to feel it a little bit here with 3 straight losses, having failed to cover the spread in their last 2 games, losing to Marquette, losing to Seton Hall, and losing to Creighton. 2 of those 3 games were on the road. For Villanova, they've lost 2 straight in 3 of their last 4. These 2 teams have met already once this season, and that one was won by the Johnnies. Let me see here. It was on the 6th, and it was 81-71. St. John's won on the road. So little bit of revenge here, maybe. St. John's 6-4 against the spread in their last 10. Villanova 10-8 against the spread overall. I don't know if there's a lot to be, said necessarily for the teams. Let me see here. Thought I had a little bit of I might have lost my place. All right. We might just have to move on. Let me get your picks here on this one. Thanks, Wine Time. He comes in with one here with St. John's, picking up the slack for me. Cash Action Bets. He's on St. John's today. All right. And Ari says, Nova getting 4 points. St. John. Let me interpret here what he's Nova getting 4 points. Like they should be obviously he thinks they should be getting more, right? Is what it feels like. Ari is saying there. Okay. Like maybe St. John's should be favored by more, like maybe Villanova. I don't know. I'm worried about St. John's all of a sudden, and I've been the big St. John's apologist here, or St. John's backer here through all this. Nova and the under here for Timmy Two Shoe. Mike says St. John's is reasonable. Ari says maybe this game should be a pick'em, and Jeff Schramm says St. John's to rebound off of their last loss. Yeah, how about off all their last? Here's Justin on Villanova. Glad you love St. John's. Ari says he thinks Nova is square. All right. Give me just one moment. Okay, get a sip of water there. All right. Let me see, Ari. Let me see. Let me my interpretation here of this one. Who I think the squares are on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The widely reported steam did come in on the over. I'd say sharps prefer the over here by maybe about a 3-1 margin. But you guys are making it hard because I want to take. I'll just take the over. Here is my play. I want to take Villanova, you guys, and I am Mr. St. John's at this point. Biggie says, do I think teasers are a good play? I would say no for the most part. I will take the standard, especially in basketball. The prices just are not fitting, but it doesn't mean I won't do it on occasion in certain situations. Like I said, I like to use every tool in my belt, and sometimes it calls for a teaser, sometimes the same, teasing side and total a little bit. And sometimes it has to do with my, penchant to want to gamble and I'm watching a game. But in general, no. And I agree with everyone on I always make a big joke, with the football teasers. You go wrong, you go wrong. It's not true. It's just a funny saying. But I know everyone wants to stick to, and if you're a basic gambler, an average gambler that doesn't like to take risks, you better stick to the Wong teasers. But if you know what you're doing, you can get out of the comfort zone. You can cross a zero here and there. If you are looking to play by the book and don't want to get a terrible price in something, then don't do it. Don't do it. Use your tool. Okay, here we go. Next up, Illinois and Northwestern. Illinois on the road here by 3.5. It looks like right now, total 146, 145.5 currently at FanDuel. So maybe even some 146s out there, but looks to me like the Sharps are kind of leaning to the under on that total. That might be. Even I don't have a good feel yet, even though I'm the guy who knows the Sharps are on. And I think for the most part, the Steams come in here on Northwestern, but there's been plenty of buyback with Illinois, and they're favored on the road after all. They're probably perceived to be the better team. Northwestern has had certainly some nice moments. This season, some big moments so far. But Illinois perceived to be the better team here between these two, I would think, right now, given their standing and maybe their defense as well. But you do have Northwestern at home. They are 13-5 overall. Illinois ranked 10th in the country, 14-4. You got that typical situation people like to kind of pounce on with these unranked teams at home. But the thing to caution, I think, a little bit, Illinois, not only are they winning, they're covering spreads like nobody's business, especially of late. They're on a spread roll right now. Just 3-1-1 in their last 5, but before that they had covered 5 straight. So maybe it's coming back a little bit, but Northwestern is not a great spread team, or at least not a profitable spread team. They're 8-9-1 overall, 5-6-1 against the spread at home, and 2-4 against the spread as an underdog. So it just hasn't been their best role. And maybe some of those wins by Northwestern have been so high profile that maybe they get a little bit of attention. Maybe here's a home dog, they'll get attention. They beat Michigan State here at home 88-74. So I don't know, kind of an any given day type of situation, but you are dealing with Illinois here, probably a top 10 team. They're 12-1-1 against the spread in their last 14 games. I didn't give them enough credit now that I see over here as some of the hottest teams in the nation against the spread. Northwestern, however, has covered 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams. Illinois has won 12 of their last 15 games straight up and gone over in 7 of their last 8 games. These two teams have already met once this season at Illinois, of course, 96-66. The Illini won that one by 30 points as a 5.5-point road favorite. They've covered 5 straight games on the road, have the Illini, and they've beaten Northwestern in 10 of the last 11 meetings. I think last year Northwestern won at Northwestern 73-60 as their only series win. So it has come in the last time these two teams met in Evanston. Northwestern, however, has gone just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games. They've won 13 of their last 15 and 9 of their last 10 at home. They've gone under in 7 of the last 8 meetings against Illinois here in Evanston. Take your comments here. Cash action bets on Northwestern. And let's see here. Illinois wins 3 of every 4 games, pretty much, Ari says. And I could only imagine. It might be me, but it might be all right. Jeff says he's got this one, though. Close. Hey, that's why I'm picking these tough ones. That's why I'm picking these tough ones, brother. Let's make it tough on ourselves. I'm taking what did okay, he'll go. Okay, Jeff's going with Illinois. I'm going with Illinois as well. And Thomas goes with Illinois. Yeah, I'll be that guy, right? Everyone loves these home underdogs, playing ranked teams. They've done okay this past week or two. Some of them, those road favorites have been okay. All of a sudden, when the talk starts to come up a little bit, every year it does. Every year it does because we enter conference play and all the numbers are out of whack. And then we start to get into conference play, and maybe a few of those crazy things happen. And then once we get deeper into conference play, things kind of settle down. All right, Timmy says take the Cats and under and no OT. I would have been profitable in my premiums yesterday if I'll tell you this. Okay, do I have to give anybody $1 for bad beat stories like in poker? Because I have lost in premiums 5 total, now 6. Yesterday I lost another one in the last. It happened the other night where I lost several. I think I lost 3 games in one night that went overtime that I went under. I mean, I go under a lot in my premiums. Anybody who subscribes kind of knows that. And that's part of it. I understand that. But I've had 6 games go over in the past probably 5 days, I want to say. I've lost 6 premium games where I've had the total right in regulation. You have to consider they were 4 of them were tightly contested games. That's why I had the under in them. And 2 of them were kind of upsets where maybe that wasn't. But you have to consider low scoring games could go over. Close games could go overtime. But I've had 6 losses. It's all documented here on Tony's Picks. You guys, will we ever get to hockey? Kansas State and Iowa State. In this one, you have Iowa State here favored by 6.5. The widely reported steam did come in on Kansas State in this one. And right now we're talking about the line at 8, showing 8 for Iowa State at a lot of places here in the total 135. That may have been just the lowest that Iowa State was at. I entered these in last night because I wasn't doing too hot. I wasn't sure what was going to happen when I woke up. So, but certainly here, Iowa State now -8. I did see as high as -9. Where was that at? That was at DraftKings. All right. Let's kind of get into this one here with Kansas State and Iowa State. This was my favorite game from the nation's toughest conference tonight. Iowa State here. Kansas State comes in 14-4. Iowa State, they're also 14-4. Kansas State 4-0 against the spread on the road. Iowa State 10-2 against the spread at home. Iowa State also is 12-6 against the spread overall. Kansas State just 10-8 against the spread overall, but both teams have covered 7 of their last 10 games. Iowa State has gone over in 11 of their 18 games this season, while Kansas State's gone under in 8 of their last 10 games. This total, maybe it's inching a little bit higher right now, but I think we're looking at a 135 for the most part. Kansas State has gone under in 9 of their last 11 in addition to those 8. So 8 of the last, 9. Let me go with that one. 9 of the last 11. That's even a little bit better. But Kansas State also has gone over in 14 of their last 19 games on the road dating back to last season. Kansas State has covered 5 of the last 6 meetings here against Iowa State on the road, and they've gone 5-1-1 against the spread in their last 7 meetings overall against Iowa State. Kansas State has won 6 of their last 7 games overall this season. For Iowa State, they've been covering strong of late. 8 of their, let's see, what did I say? 7 of their last 10, 8 of their last 11. Let's call it what it is. 8 of their last 11. They've won 9 of their last 11 overall. They're 11-0 against the spread. 11-0 straight up at home this season. And widely reported steam, like I said, did come in on Kansas State, but this thing is all the way back up to 8 points. So Let me see if anybody's got a feel for this one. I've got one more after. I've got two more after this, and we haven't even gotten to hockey. Maybe I picked too many um, college basketball games, but it was such a good card. Burke, he's got African Cup of Nations requests in there. I think we got somebody that can help you out, Burke, today. We roll one more day in the end of group play here, cash action bets on K-State. And Ari says, maybe you should check that injury report. I was curious when I saw that because the 6.5 that I had on screen, and that was last night, and I see like no 6.5s that were anywhere. Like it was what was I looking at? What book was I looking at when I saw 6.5? Lipsy questionable for Iowa State. That's really the only thing that I see as a notable recent injury. So I do want to peek at that actually. Did I really see a 6.5 or was it a typo? Oh, it was 6.5 at FanDuel at 9:15 p.m. last night. That is very interesting. All right. I know, Mike, but they don't like me to spend too much time on the air here. Might be a detriment to the channel. Who knows? All right. Anyways, better make a call on this one so we can move on here. Look, I see this one kind of moving higher here of late. And I would think that that's where I want to be headed too. Look, the Sharps, for me, they're all over Kansas State. And looks like they're getting, I love it. It's great, getting these great points. Timmy says, though, give me Iowa State and over. And man, I feel like I want K-State here in this one, but I'll take the over as my play. Maybe too many conflicts there in the chat. And maybe I like Kansas State pretty heavy here, actually. I'm just going to wait to see if it keeps. I don't know. I did see 9. There actually were 9s out there. Not right now. Let's continue on with Utah and Washington State. This is my Pac-12 game of the day. It was weird. We're picking games, and they ended up being. And again, you probably could have considered the Colorado-Washington game, which is after this one. Colorado favored on the road in that one, but I decided to take a gander at this one with Washington State at home. They're coming off of a overtime loss against Cal here, while Utah coming in with a 2-game winning streak after sweeping the Oregon teams at home. Washington State comes in 13-6, while Utah comes in with a 14-5 record in this one. For Utah, I said they swept the Oregon teams at home. They only beat Oregon by 6 points as a 6-point favorite. And for Washington State, they're coming in, as I said, off that loss against Cal. They were on a 3-game winning streak before that. They beat Stanford on the road on that trip. They also won at home against Arizona, and they beat USC on the road. All 3 of those games were covers for Washington State. These two teams have already played their first game go-round this season. It was back in late December, actually. Utah won 80-58 as an 8-point favorite in that one at home. Washington State is 9-1 straight up at home this season. And Utah is just 1-3 straight up on the road. All right. See if we have any comments here in this game. This one feels a little bit dirty, if you know what I mean. This one feels kind of tough. There was widely reported steam that did come in on Washington in this game. So I saw it as low as a pick 'em at one point. Well, Washington State, they've won 11 of their last 16 games. Let's see here. Timmy likes the over. And Jeff says Washington State and under. Mike says these are live games tonight. Washington State's, as I said, looking good at home with a 9-1 record so far, but they've won just one of the last 8 meetings here at home against the Utes. Now, I don't know if you want to consider Utah down at this point, or are we getting the same Utah as usual at this point? Maybe that's something to consider. Wazoo has gone under in 7 of their last 10 games overall. 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Utah's gone just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games overall, despite winning 11 of their last 14. They've also covered 7 of the last 9 meetings against the Cougars and won 16 of the last 18 meetings between the two teams overall. Utah just 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games on the road, dating back to last season. As I said, 1-3 against the spread this season. They're also 3-8 in their last 11 games in conference play. Some of that dates back to last year. Right now in conference, I guess 1 game. No, I guess that is. There are 8 games now. Utah, both teams are 5. No, Utah 5-3, just a half a game back. The Pac-12 is wild. It's almost like football. Top 2 teams, Arizona and Oregon. Oh, and Oregon and Arizona State. Can't forget the Sun Devils playing out of their mind at this point. All 3 of those teams are 5-2. Meanwhile, Utah, Colorado, and Stanford are all 5-3. And Ari says, Utah is the square play. I'm not insulted. I'm not leaving the show, even if I do take Utah here. I don't. Like I said, I think the Sharps kind of, like I said, they moved on Washington State. I believe that the Super Sharps, Ari. Man, okay. I don't want anybody upset. I thought we were having fun. I can't have a one-on-one. You guys aren't on, in my next to me, or I don't, All right. Here in this one, and I do think this move, you see that we talked about the under. Who mentioned that? Jeff Schramm. He likes Washington State. He likes the under. Now we might be on different sides here in this one, but I think I like the under, and I'm going to agree with Jeff. I'm just going to go with the under here. It is dropping, but I feel like Utah. I might be premium. I might be Utah walking spotted bear here today. Ari Washington money line. Jeff says, take a look, Ramon. It might be 143.5 now. And, I definitely like to make sure we have the best. I don't have that fancy scoreboard like Tony does. I wish I did, but we just type it in manually. And I'll type it. I'll put it 143.5 here. I'll even put it 143 because I do see a book now at 143. So let's do it, Utah and Washington State. And I'll take the under here as my play. One more in college basketball. This is our biggest college basketball program of the season. And look how we've been here forever. Colorado State taking on Nevada in our Mountain West game of the night. How about, you know what? That might be our new feature here. Just pick the best game in each conference. I like this. Let's talk about it with my favorite conference, with Nevada here against Colorado State. Well, I don't like hardly any teams in the Mountain West, but that's just because I'm a San Diego State fan. And which of these teams do I like less? Probably Nevada. Let's be honest, right? If you're an Aztec fan. Anyways, Nevada comes in actually 2-3 here at home. Colorado State 3-2. I just want to pick a Mountain West game. It seems closely rated. Seems like a pretty good game here. I mean, you always could talk about a guy like Isaiah Stevens with Colorado State. And, of course, Blackshear's awesome as well. So in this one, you got Nevada here, as I said, a 3.5-point favorite. They are 11-7 against the spread overall. I will note Colorado State, they're not covering numbers of late despite the wins they had over UNLV and Air Force at home. They didn't get the numbers in that game, but they did win as significant favorites in those two games. Before that, they did lose road games at Boise, at Utah State, in very similar situations to this, right? They were 1.5-point dogs to Boise, lost by 7 in a very low-scoring game. The total was very similar to this. They also lost at Utah State, 77-72 as a 2.5-point dog. Total was a little bit higher in that one. Nevada is 2-8 to the under in their last 10 games, and Colorado State is 1-5 to the under on the road. Colorado State's gone under in 6 of their last 8 games, and I believe all those 8 unders that I mentioned are consecutive here at this point. Colorado State has lost 10 of the last 13 meetings between these two teams. Nevada comes in having won 18 of their last 20 games at home. They're 9-1 at home straight up this season. They've won, as I said here, 1-5 against the spread, though, for Nevada in their last 6 games. The total has gone over in 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams here in Reno. And maybe we can see what you guys have some great comments here on this one already. It looks like Ari says, gotta go wolf. That's got to be a wolf. It looks like a horse from here, but I have bad eyes. Ari says Nevada's due, so that settles it. And maybe that's it. Oh, here's cash action bets on Nevada. Okay, Iowa, Maryland for Ari. Don't let me forget. I thought there was one other one. God, we've done a lot of games, you guys. Should we just cancel hockey? No! Thomas, they do have a couple of common opponents already. I don't know if I get into it too much. We spent a lot of time here on the show. I better just make the pick and get out of here. Right? I kind of like the points here in this one. Look, there's plenty of support. I'm sure the Sharps are on Nevada. It feels like the steam's been apparently all on Nevada. There was some sharp buyback that I'm interested in with Colorado State here. And Mike with a scientific. And look at Jeff and I. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it for Jeff and I. Let's do it. Let's go under again, Jeff. You and me. We're kings of the unders on these games. I'm going to lean Colorado State. Might be a premium later. I do respect the action on Nevada here, though, as a favorite. All right, one more for our maybe it'll just be a pick here. If we preview it, it'll be another 5 minutes. But Ari wants to know about his Hawkeyes today. We don't, he already told me, right? He already told me last time we did it, and I gave the pick, and he agreed, and it was over. We had the same pick. We had the same. So for me, Ari, hey, maybe we could talk about the Sharps here in this one. To me, it seems like the steam has come in on Iowa, and then there's been some sharp buyback on Maryland that does pique my interest, but they don't look like winning groups. If anything, I'd probably end up going against the Hawkeyes here. I'm taking, what is now, I believe, is it 6.5 points? Because it was 4.5. You're not going to probably catch me laying something like that where it's maybe 2.5. Okay, 5.5 and 152 currently in the Iowa game. But I have seen this line as high as 7, where Maryland was bought back at that point all the way back down to 5.5. Bet Rivers had this game at 7 just a couple of hours ago. That seems wild. But the markets do fluctuate now quite a bit early on with now that we have so much betting out there. Iowa has no defense. Hey, don't give away the premiums here, Ari, because I think that's maybe I'll just do it. Maybe I'll just do it. Poppy says Maryland first half. I kind of like Maryland. Maybe I'm not even getting the best of it now at this point. Jeff says Iowa and the over. I kind of want to go Maryland. Timmy Chushu, Iowa and under. Cash action bets here. Iowa. All right. So for Ari, I'm not going to pick against Iowa because Ari was so nice. I'm leaning Maryland. I think I want Maryland. I'll take the over. We got some other members in the chat. Poppy first half Maryland makes me kind of feeling like Maryland can be in there early and hang in there. Because I think I like the steam that's come in here on Maryland of late, but I'll take the over. All right, we got to do a hockey, and we got to do it fast. We're going to have a 2.5+ hour show here today. I apologize, but we've got 3 dozen of you here, so we know it's a little bit too long. ESPN breaking that news that Rivers will be. We already knew it. Everybody knows it's the worst kept secret. Rivers finalizing his deal to be the coach, says ESPN. A lot of people make fun of the ESPN. I think they're talking about the ESPN regular app, not the betting app. I find them to be selective in their bulletins, and I find all the bulletins to be very worthy of notifying me. And I'm one that likes latest information, right? All right, let's get it going here in the hockey. Started off with the Jets. And Brossoit in there. And Brossoit's been good when he's been in there here. And Jets going up against the Leafs in this one. Got Toronto here, $1.38 at Bovada, $1.42 at FanDuel now. Total 6 for the most part. I'd say it's 6. Maybe it's even 6 flat. Maybe over is favored, actually. Let me take a look. I'll go to the markets. 6 over 17 bet online, 6 over 15. So maybe just a little bit lower than this right now as we start our NHL coverage here. With this one. All right. Here we go with the Jets on the road. The Jets have won 10 of their last 12 games right now. One of the hottest teams going still here. They've lost 5 of the last 7 meetings against Toronto. I mean, that's reasonable considering where Winnipeg has been. This has been such a rapid ascent to their level of success. But certainly Toronto getting a pretty reasonable price for them here, I guess, is one way you could look at it. I mean, the Jets can't keep this up this long, can they? But Toronto just feels like maybe they're a little backwards at this point. They've lost 5 of their last 7 games right now, and 5 of their last 6 games at home. Toronto's gone over. This series has gone over in 5 of the last 6 meetings currently. Winnipeg's gone under in 6 of their last 7 on the road. So teams that are kind of trending under here. Toronto as a favorite, 22 overs, 16 unders, however, and they have gone 14-7 to the over at home. So Jets are coming off that 4-1 loss to Boston. We had the under in that one. Toronto, they are off of a win here, 3-1 against Seattle on the road. They were on a 4-game road trip that saw them go 2-2. And Trey likes Toronto here, and Jeff Schramm likes the over in this one. All right, that's the way I was thinking too. I don't think any late action since we've been on the air is probably going to change my mind on the over. I think that's probably the way I was leaning. But I do like what you guys were saying about Toronto. Let's see, Dre on Toronto. So maybe it will be the choice eventually. I'll take the over in this one. At 6. That's 6 over, juice 6 over. All right, here we go. This will be fast if no one has any picks. Coyotes and Panthers today. Coyotes, 23 wins, 19 losses this season. Florida, 28 and 14. This one's seeing some movement right now. I'm showing right now the Panthers are up to about 240 here today. Bobrovsky confirmed in goal in this one. The first two goalies on that first game were definitely the goalies that we're expected to see today. They are probable. The total here on this one, 6/20. With the Panthers here, man, that's a pretty high price. I mean, I know the Coyotes are a team that we like to back at home, but I don't know. I mean, I know Florida's great and all, but Arizona might be able to hang in there and make a game of this, right? Well, maybe take a look at some of the numbers with these two. Look, I don't want to tell you too much. I mean, Florida's been one of the hottest teams around, and the way things are going, everyone's still talking them up. They finally broke that losing streak, and I think it was just a matter of time. Nobody's saying that Florida, all that great work that they've done, just because they lost some games, to maybe not the best teams overall, but they have lost 4 of their last 5 now. Florida's gone under in 14 of their last 19 games overall, and 7 of their last 10 games at home have gone under as well. This series has gone over in 5 straight in Florida, but 4 of the last 6 meetings here in Florida have gone under. So maybe not too much on the head-to-head after all. Arizona is 1-5 against Florida in their last 6 meetings. Arizona's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games on the road. Florida also 14 and 22 to the under as a favorite. They're just an under team in general, however. Jeff Schramm wants to go under. Doubles wants to go over. Okay, and that's it from you guys so far in this one. I just want to try Arizona here on the puck line, it feels like to me. Maybe I prefer the under here if it goes up. Is it 6.5 yet? I was kind of waiting for it to do so, but I don't know if it's ever going to get there. It's stuck on 6/15 at this point. So I don't know if I can play the under necessarily, but I'll take Arizona here on the puck line today at plus 1.5. Ari's with me. Plus 1.5 at minus $1.30, $1.35 at the square books. Hurricanes and Bruins as we quickly continue to move on here with our show. Thanks everybody for joining me today. Got Allmark and maybe it will be Spencer Martin and not Antti Ranta in here today for the Hurricanes. Right now, I'm showing Boston, maybe $1.40, maybe even $1.35 here. Maybe it's moved down. Total 6 flat, maybe. Maybe this one's moved up just slightly here today already. I'm showing 6 flats at Bovada, at DraftKings, at stations, at South Point, everywhere. Seems like 6 flat. So no reason to call it shaded to the under at this point. Feels like a 6 flat. So, these teams aren't necessarily under teams, that's for sure. But Boston's been going over here, I believe, a little bit of late, considering they have gone over in 7 of their last 10 games overall. 8 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Boston's won 6 of their last 7 at home. They're on a winning streak again for Boston, a 5-game winning streak, beating teams at home here. This is a 5th game of the homestand. They beat New Jersey. They beat Colorado. They beat Montreal. And they beat Winnipeg, all by puck lines. So Boston back on a roll. Best team in the league. Come on, we can talk about all the imposters, it feels like a little bit, right? Every other flavor of the week that comes up, and then all of a sudden Boston gets back in a groove. Carolina's won 8 of their last 11. That's what makes this such a great game tonight. They have 25 wins overall. They've won 6 of their last 7 games on the road, and they're also just the fourth time this season they've been an underdog. 5 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams here in Boston have gone over. See if you guys have anything here in this one with Carolina and Boston tonight. Boston at home for Jeff. Mike's on the Bruins as well. Hey, you might even be thinking, hey, you know what? I'm getting a pretty decent line here on Boston. The Sharps, I think they're on Carolina for the most part. It feels like to me, I'm showing sharp moves coming in on Carolina by about a 5-2 margin. And I probably want to trust the Sharps actually in this one. Doesn't feel like the best price. Maybe you're getting a discount here for you supporters here of Boston in this one. But man, I just feel like maybe it's going to be a low-scoring game, and maybe maybe that will help the volatility. All right, I don't know if I can pass it up. I kind of want to go Carolina here. I don't mean to be going against the Bees right now, but Carolina playing pretty decent, getting $1.20-ish. I'm going to take Carolina in this position against Boston tonight. And I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I almost want to go the double play, but I see the total now. It's 6 flat, like I said. All right. Let's move on. We're going to roll this hockey and get out of here. Here's Capitals and Avalanche tonight in this one. Lindgren is confirmed in goal here for the Capitals going up again. We don't know about Colorado's goaltending situation just yet. Feels like Gorgiev will be in there for Washington on a back-to-back here, obviously, after last night's contest against the Minnesota Wild. That was our only premium play. We went over in that one with Minnesota and Washington. Ended up being, I believe, a 7-goal game. We also had winners here on the show last night, Vegas and the Islanders game. We had a winner on that one with the under. And we also had a winner with the Rangers and the Sharks game to go under. Overall, though, I know we did not finish above 500 in either of those two. Our college basketball is what we were doing well in yesterday. So you have Lindgren in here. Kemper was in goal, right, last night. So for Lindgren, 3-2-1, a 93% save percentage in his last 7 games. He's 9-5-3 overall. The Avalanche have won 5 of their last 7. And, of course, great offense that they have. Number 2, I guess, in the league currently, or last I checked anyways, for the Avalanche. I'm sure they still are at this point. So, still going to be a minus 250 or so here against the Capitals, of course. For Colorado, they've won 9 of their last 12. They've gone over in 5 straight games, although the series here between these two teams that play twice a year, 4 of the last 5 games have gone under. Colorado's won 9 of their last 10 games at home. 4 out of the last 5 meetings between these two in Colorado have gone under. Washington's gone under in 5 of their last 7. They're 5-10 straight up in their last 15. Washington, interestingly, has won 12 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams. So kind of interesting. Washington just 1-5 in their last 6 games on the road. So interesting to note that the Capitals have had success against the Avalanche. And I don't know if there's much difference between those two franchises over the last several years. If anything, right, the Capitals maybe were better in those years, yes, but still, we keep wanting to knock these guys off their pedestal a little bit. And, they still seem to have a pretty good record, 22 wins so far this season. So, all right. I don't know if I can necessarily lay a $1.50 even with the Avalanche as a premium, but I might do it here on the show right now. It feels like this is a spot. I did see some steam just roll in here within the last half hour on the Capitals. They took them at plus $2 or so, but still, Bovada's up to 270 here at this point. The total 6/20. Washington off a couple of road losses here already, 3-0 and 5-3. Colorado just off of a long road trip here. They've had 3 days off to prepare for this, but they covered some puck line. They beat Philly 7-4, Ottawa 7-4, Toronto 5-3 on the road. I'll take the Avalanche here and lay a goal and a half tonight on a puck line for me. Wow. Capitals here for Mike. Ari's on the over. And Jeff on the Avs here on the puck line with me. Thanks, you guys. All right. Here comes the Blackhawks in to take on the Kraken here in this one. And got the Kraken about $3 or so. $2.90 at Bovada, $2.75 at Bet Online, and $2.70 at Circa. Currently in this one, Seattle. This is a TNT game tonight. Seattle with 19 wins. Chicago, 14 wins, everybody. They won 2 out of their last 4. I think that's a kind of a good sign of late. Seattle's on a losing streak again all of a sudden. Now, they were on the road for 3 of those losses, but they came back home and lost at home here to Toronto for 4 pretty poor performances. Safe to say, for the Kraken, a team that, we certainly like to back a little bit on the road, but hadn't been that solid of late. Of course, the Blackhawks are just 4-20 on the road this season, while Seattle at least is 9-9 at home, still dealing with a monster money line here, of course. Seattle's gone under in 10 of their last 13 games overall. However, this series has gone over in 5 straight games. Seattle's gone under in 5 straight at home. For Chicago, they've gone under in 6 of their last 7 games and also have gone under in 6 straight games on the road. Chicago just here. Let's see. I think there's been a little bit of movement. I don't know if it can get me over to Chicago at all, quite frankly. No, I think I want Seattle, and maybe I'm going to go over here. Is it 5.5 still? If it is, I'm on the over. I know that Chicago is really having a hard time scoring right now, and it's really been the big, one of their big issues, certainly at this point, but I'm not sure I can even ignore it at this point. I'm probably willing to go over here at 5.5. Anything from you guys here, Jeff, on the under? Chicago plus the goals. Okay, appreciate you guys on that one. I'm going to keep it going here with St. Louis and Vancouver. We got to get out of here. Only can spend 2 3/4 hours with 40 of you here. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Looks like Hoffer in goal today in this one. We don't have the goalies confirmed yet in this matchup between St. Louis and Vancouver. But it sure is an active game for the Sharps, man. They've been playing pretty much both sides, but I think Vancouver's been taking most of the Sharp action, and it just feels like a pretty good spot, actually, for Vancouver. I would think they could roll here in this one with a bit of a number, too. I know it's at 6.5. Oh, is that right? 6.5 over 20? No, that can't be right. 6.5 under 20. That's for sure. Maybe there's even some 6 overs out there, 6 over 20 at Bet Online, 6 over 25 at DraftKings right now, but there's a lot of 6.5 unders. And what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and take the over as my play here on the show. I do think I like Vancouver, and I don't know if I can get there on a premium, but it is plus 105 or so for Vancouver on the puck line. I may have a rare puck line premium here. I show them 250 money line at Bovada, but I do think Vancouver is in the right spot to get a blowout win over St. Louis in this one. And look, I'm not going to slight St. Louis on some of their recent efforts. I mean, they've won 2 straight here, including a win at Calgary 4-3 the other night. They did beat Washington also at home, but I don't know. I like Vancouver right now on this 3-game winning streak currently. Wins at home here over Chicago 2-0, over Toronto 6-4, and they beat Arizona 2-1. So Vancouver has won 8 of their last 9 overall, 9 of their last 10 at home. St. Louis has won 5 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams, and St. Louis has also won 6 of the last 8 meetings overall between these two. Should say 5 of the last 7 St. Louis has won in Vancouver, 6 of the last 8 overall over Vancouver. How's that? St. Louis has gone under in 10 of their last 15 games on the road, although over in 4 of their last 6. I'm taking the over here in this one, but I'm talking Vancouver up pretty strong here, quite honestly, that they can get the puck line. Just saving it, maybe usually give the puck line on the show, but might have a puck line tonight with Vancouver actually. One last game, it's the Sabres and my Kings in this one. And the Kings, look, the Kings have 22 wins and the Sabres have 20. How are the Kings one of the best teams in the league right now? Although the Kings do play a lot of regulation draws, we know that. They're not afraid to go to overtime necessarily, given their marks. They are favored here $1.90, but that is amazing, right? Kings to be such a decent record and only 2 more wins than a Buffalo team that's under 500. All right. First meeting of the 2 teams this season. They'll play another one here, but you got Kings $1.90, maybe even $2 or so right now. I'm showing $1.81 at Circa, $1.91 at Bet Online, and basically $1.90 everywhere you look. Total 6 over 20 for the most part. I don't think we're seeing many 6 over 25s. Might even be a little lower than 6 over 20 at some of the spots, but maybe it's heading down just a little bit with these 2 teams that seem to have a penchant for playing under games right now, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, taking a look at these 2 teams of late, I mean, the Kings are 17-27 for the season to the under. Buffalo's 19-28 for the season to the under. Buffalo's gone under in 4 of their last 5. Kings, 5 of the last 6 meetings between these 2 teams have gone under. Kings have lost 11 of their last 13. Can't seem to fix things necessarily right now. They just lost to the Sharks. So I don't know. They beat the Rangers before that to stop their losing streak, but they have beaten Buffalo here 9 of the last 11 meetings at home. So it's always been a bad trip. Feels like a good spot for the Kings if they weren't playing so poorly. Kind of makes me not want to play the Kings here, but feel like I gotta. All right. Anyways, as far as the total is concerned, I think we've seen it go from 6. Let me see, 6 over 20 currently. All right. Yeah, there were some books that opened it at 6.5. I don't think I mind the over here in this one. Give me the over tonight. Widely reported steam came in on the under. I get it. 2 teams playing a lot of unders. But if it's going to be 6 over 20 right now, I'll take it over. I mean, why wouldn't this thing end up 3-3? Maybe it'll be 2-2. Get your comments, and here's Kings and under for Jeff. Here's Mike with the Kings. Thanks, everybody. I think that's the show. And appreciate it. Bet dads might be on the trip. They might play a little better. All right, that's the show. We got to get out of here. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Ton of games, ton of time. Thank you, guys. 3 dozen of you stayed the whole way. Well, probably not like that, but still, I'll still do it. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern and 6 a.m. Pacific with more morning steam. We'll talk about all the news and picks for tomorrow. Thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate you guys. And we'll be back with more morning steam. Join me here tomorrow. Don't forget, Tony and the Pick Dogs crew with the drive-through, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific, right here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Hey, join me in the chat on the Tony's Picks channel when the drive-through's on. I often come in there with some late-breaking information and always a pick at the end. You know, when Tony shows the picks of the crew, I always say, I like so-and-so with so-and-so. And I'd love to see you in there as well. We could have more dialogue. Many people from the chat of this show appear in that show, and a lot of our Tony's Picks handicappers as well. So I expect to see you there. All right. For Tony'sPicks.com, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining me.